Welcome back to Kingdom Outcast. Today is episode number 17. We have an interesting topic, I think, today. If you're watching us on YouTube, you can probably tell all three of us are into or getting into or working on our collections of Funko Pops. So, we're going to chat about today the ones that we have collected up to this point, and also talk about what are some ones on our wish list and just everything that goes along with that. So, I'm Brendan.
I'm Greg.
I'm Jordan.
So let's get it started. So how do you guys think the best way to do this is? You want to talk about the ones that we currently have first?
Well, what are the ones that you have that you think are the rarest ones you have?
So for me, it's both of the Parks exclusive ride series. So if you're watching this on YouTube, it is the Ezra in Doom Buggy from Haunted Mansion.
Which is really cool.
Yep. And then the other one is Alice in Wonderland in a teacup.
Those are like epic because they're actually in something and have something with them. Those are really cool.
Yeah.
There's also a Splash Mountain out there, which is very rare, right?
Yeah, so they pretty much only stocked it once in the parks. I think maybe one random day they restocked it again. But it is the most difficult to find of all the ride series.
Just searching through the app, there's also a Enchanted Tiki Room one, which I thought was pretty cool. I mean, I would buy that just because of the novelty of it. But
the only issue with the ride series is that even when you buy them retail, they're more expensive. So both of these, I think, were $40 or $45 compared to a typical Funko is what, 10 to 15?
Sometimes even less.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can get them at Target, $9.
Yeah.
So that's the only issue. I did see on eBay recently someone had packaged the Tiki Room and Splash Mountain, which are the two that I need, for $100.
Whew, go ahead and buy it.
Could not convince my wife to do that.
I actually did not until y'all were talking about them. I didn't know they had park exclusive ones.
Yeah.
That is something I did not know.
So sticking with park exclusive, there was a Figment one for the 35th anniversary of Epcot. Very rare.
I would buy that.
I'm sure it is.
I've also seen a Mr. Toad on the app, and that one is worth $200 just because it's so rare.
So let's go ahead and maybe let's backtrack a little bit. Let's talk about the Funko app because I didn't know it existed for the longest time. So what are kind of the features and what's the rundown of what all you can do on the app?
I just discovered it recently, and I think actually I texted you two about it, telling you, hey, I just found this app, it's pretty cool.
I ignored you for a while about it but you pestered me to death about
but
it.
You
so
like
I
it
downloaded it. Yes, I did. It's fun.
Yeah. So you can go on. There's a lot of different features. You can search by properties. So say you want to look for Marvel specific pops, or you want to look for any pop culture show. Say one that comes to mind, The Simpsons. You go on there and look for The Simpsons, or whatever you want to do. You can search through by that. You can search by genre, so that. But then the other thing that I think is pretty cool, you have a wish list where you can go on and you can kind of keep track of specific pops that you're looking for, if they're available online or if they're an exclusive items at certain stores, which we all know they kind of do sometimes. It will tell you where you can buy them. You can shop for them online. It'll kind of give you the value of them, because some are more valuable than others. The rarer ones are obviously worth more. There's some that I've seen on there that are worth $2,000. I can't. That just blows my mind that some of these things are worth this much. But then the other thing, you can add your collection and you can store your collection online, and it will tell you the approximate value of how much it's worth. The street value. I think the term they use is PPG. I think on the app. But it would give you the approximate value, and that fluctuates. It can go up $1 or $2 depending on what day you're looking at it. But it's pretty accurate. But it's a fun little app, especially for people like me. I'm just now starting to get into it. Brendan, you've been into it for a little while. Greg, I know you probably have the biggest collection out of all of us.
I do. I've been actually collecting them for a really long time, probably 2 or 3 years. I'm saying by collecting, we may have 20.
Okay.
25, something like that. where my cousin, who is a manager at GameStop, who, if y'all want to look up the Mount Joy GameStop app, I'm in a Facebook group, he posts all the Funko Pops that he gets into the store that are for sale.
Yeah.
He has like his spare bedroom is dedicated to it, like half a wall all the way around stacked up kind of thing. It's crazy, but he's the one who got me into it, and I was like, yeah, they're cool. I grabbed a few at first, but then I got more, and I buy a couple more, and then I bought a couple more, and so I buy probably 2 a month, maybe something like that. But I really have to want it. I don't buy just every one that comes out. I have to actually care about what I'm buying, because I'm not wasting my money. I'm wasting my money, but I'm not wasting it on something that I want.
Yeah. Why do you like, I think it's interesting to talk about, why do you like Funko Pops? Because they're nothing more than...
They're molded plastic. I mean,
Yeah,
that's what
they're nothing but more but
they're action figures that don't even have any action.
right. They're so nostalgic, and they're so well made, and they're so cool. It's just, and they're fun, and they're artistic, and you can look at Deadpool as, what's his name?
Bob Ross.
Bob Ross.
How dare you forget Bob
I know.
Ross?
I was like, Ross, but what's his first name? I mean, where else are you gonna find that? Like that's really cool.
I think, to me, it kind of, it plays a lot into pop culture. So, I mean, if you're into pop culture, and especially like stuff that you grew up with, Star Wars or Marvel or TV shows or, whatever it is, I think it's just a fun little thing to collect. Like for me, I'm not one of those people. I just started my collection just, a couple weeks ago. Just now started getting into them. But, things that I find are funny, or that I liked growing up as a kid. I know there's a couple, we have one here on the end, Tailspin, King Louie from Tailspin, from DuckTales, and from Darkwing Duck, Launchpad. I mean, that's shows that I watched growing up. So, I mean, it's just kind of fun to collect things that from your past and from your childhood that you grew up with. Like I said, I mean, they're nothing more than little, 4-inch figurines.
3.5.
3.5 inch. That was close. But, they're just fun little things to collect and just, have on display.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not going to go out there and buy every single one that they produce.
Oh, gosh. No,
Especially, I don't even have to have everyone in a collection. I mean,
no.
Yeah, so I think that's maybe a distinguishing thing that none of us do, but I know a lot of people do, is, on the back of every box, you can see all of them in that collection, and people will go and make sure that they collect every single one of them in that line. But I think each of us just kind of pick out which ones we like and piece them together.
I don't think I have any. I don't know what all are in the Gilmore Girls collection, but I bought some for like my wife's birthday or something like that. I can't remember. I buy most of the ones I have are ones that I know my wife will like. So I've got Mary Poppins. I got the 2 girls from Gilmore Girls. I've got Couscous, which, by the way, I just watched that movie like for the first time.
You mean Cusco?
Whatever.
blasphemy.
Couscous is a food. No, exactly. I don't even know his name. I've seen the movie once.
It's a great movie.
It really was. I just never wanted to watch it. But she made me watch it, and I bought it for her. But the 2 girls from Gilmore Girls are probably my most prized pops, which sounds weird to say, but Lorelai is $60 on the app. I paid $8. She's worth $60. What?
So, yeah, I mean, it's mind-blowing on what's going to take off and what's going to be... I guess it depends on the rarity of them and everything like that. I know my most valuable one, I actually had to order offline. My wife got it for me for Christmas because I've been talking about it for so long, and it was actually the first one I got. But it is Dr. Ian Malcolm from Jurassic Park, Jeff Goldblum, where he's wounded and he's laying down on his side. And
All seductively.
Yeah, I mean, and that was kind of an internet meme for a long time, was that scene from Jurassic Park, and Jeff Goldblum laying there shirtless, and it's just I thought it was really funny. So that was my most valuable one. I think it's worth like $24. Nothing big, but it's just, like I said, it's just a funny scene that I remember and that's kind of iconic that just kind of drew me to it.
I thought it was really funny that was the first one that I saw that you get. I'm like, oh, of course he did.
I also got Pecorino the same day.
I've got him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More
My cousin.
Nashville niche.
Yeah.
Pecorino, for those of you who don't know, of course we live in Nashville. He is the goaltender for the Nashville Predators, our favorite hockey team. They've obviously come out with Major League Baseball, National Football League, NHL. So they made one of Pecorino, and actually it's funny. My wife and I bought them for each other. We have two of them. We each got them one for each other, not knowing that the other one had bought it. So
Which one of you should have figured that out?
I figured it was just going to be kind of a funny gift for Christmas, and it was the same for her, and we both ended up getting it.
What is the caterpillar from A Bug's Life? He's my
Hans.
Heimlich, yeah.
What did you say?
Hans.
I've got Heimlich.
That's
Some-
I've got Ratatouille, Heimlich on this shelf. Was Ratatouille, Heimlich, Mary Poppins, and Maleficent. And like again, I bought all of those for her, and then I also bought your favorite Disney movie. What's her name? Moana, and Pua. Came with little Pua. Tariel from the Hobbit series. What else? Koos. What was it?
Cusco.
Cusco.
I feel like you
Man.
need to have that confiscated from me.
Yeah,
You're not
I'm
appreciating
gonna
it.
get. No, it's not mine. It's my wife's. And then original Captain Marvel, one of the original Captain Marvels that came out, and then a 6-inch Hagrid. So he looks like, but he's just big and bulky. Apparently, not worth anything. He's worth half of what I paid for him.
See, that is another interesting thing that if you look up the value of some of them are worth less than what you paid. Like the Alice one is actually worth a few dollars less than what I paid, but the Ezra and Doombuggy Haunted Mansion one is worth more. So it's impossible to predict stuff like that.
Yeah, whenever I go and looking at a store, I kind of pull up the app and I scan the barcode just to see kind of what the value of it is at the time. And if there's everything that's like super valuable, yeah, I'll go ahead and grab it. But I know for the launch pad here, I got, I think I paid $10 for it. He's currently worth $5. So
Yeah, Hagrid's worth $6. I paid $12.
but again, it's not so much as the value of the thing. It's more of just a nostalgia thing for me.
Oh no, absolutely.
And yeah, and I don't think any of us are really in the market to be buying and selling anyway. Like,
No.
I'm not going to take mine and put them up for sale or go try to trade them in anytime soon,
Yeah.
I don't think.
I bought 2 the other day. Actually, I didn't pay for them. They were free from my local comic book store. I got Goose the Flurkin, where Goose's teeny tiny little goose body, and its tail is wrapped around him, and then his mouth is open and all the tentacles and stuff are out, and he has the Tesseract in his tentacles. And then I got Spider-Punk from Into the Spider-Verse. Well,
The comic book version
comic
of
book
Into
version,
the Spider-Verse.
yes.
I know the other day I was just looking around, seeing if there was anything out there, and I found just a normal goose, the so-called cat version of Goose, and it literally is. It's just a cat. And my wife just loved it. She goes, "Oh my gosh, you need to get that. That's so cute and everything." I was like, "It's just a cat." I was like, "If it was a Flurkin version, yeah, I'd get it." And she looked at me like I had like 3 heads. Like, "What are you talking about?" But I was like, "No, I'm not going to get just a cat. I'm going to get a Flurkin version if I'm going to get anything with Goose."
that's what. Seriously, I was really debating between a few different ones. Have you seen the Life of Pets?
Secret Life of Pets. Yeah.
Okay, Secret Life of Pets. Yeah. They're making. I've never seen it, but from the commercials, Snowball is about the funniest character I think is from it.
That's Kevin Hart.
Exactly. Yeah. In the first series, in the first movie, they released a regular Snowball and a Crazy Snowball. Crazy Snowball, I saw him one time and never saw it ever again. It's probably really rare. Never saw it one time, disappeared.
So that's a good kind of point. Is there something like that where you've seen one time and you're like, "Oh no, I'll see that again. I'll need to buy it right now," and then it's just vanished, and then you look it up and it's worth $30 or something like that? I mean, it hasn't happened to me yet, but I imagine or not to my knowledge. I'm sure there's probably like a couple Game of Thrones ones out there that I've seen, or some of that have become like rare or valuable over the years, and I just didn't even think about buying it, and now it's wasted, worth 3 times as much as what you would have paid for it originally.
It is, to me, one of the craziest thing about Funko is how much of a wide variety of different lines that they have.
There's everything
from Modern Family to Secret Life of Pets to Game of Thrones.
I saw the Power Rangers the other day. The original TV show Power Rangers.
I think there's a Sesame Street, because isn't there a Cookie Monster?
There is a Sesame Street.
There is a Sesame Street one.
Because I was looking on the app just on stuff that maybe my daughter might like when she gets a little bit older. And they have like Sesame Street and a couple of the younger like children's cartoons and stuff like that. So
hey, you get the ones that are non-bubblehead. They're pretty durable and there's no choking hazard.
That's the other thing. For some reason, every single one that I pick up happens to turn out to be a bobblehead. I think I have 2 right now, 3 that aren't a bobblehead. And I'm very hesitant to let her. I have to put them up high where she can't get them yet, because I'm afraid if she gets a bobblehead one, she's going to take the head and just pull the head right off. But the ones that aren't bobbleheads, I'm like, yeah, as long as she doesn't like chew the paint off of it, which she can do sometimes. But
Hudson chewed some paint off of his crib, so I'm pretty sure he can take out anything.
But I mean, I would let her play with it. I guess supervised playtime, I guess.
So let's talk about how you display yours, because I think that's a challenge for some people, myself included, as to how you display them. And then I've also watched some YouTube videos on how some other people display them. So first of all, Greg, kind of what's your setup? How do you like to put them together?
Recently, within the last 2 or 3 months, they are now residing on the top 2 shelves of a 3-shelf bookshelf. But previous to that, it was a little bit of here, and a little bit of there, and a little bit of there, a little bit of there, and then we were spring cleaning, you could say, and I ripped apart everything downstairs, and all the pops had to go.
Mm-hmm.
So they had to go upstairs, and so that's why they're kind of collected where they are now, not on purpose. It's just when we bought them, we were just opening them up, oh hey, and we just stick them on a shelf somewhere.
Yeah.
But now I have them collected, but not on purpose.
What about you, Jordan?
I have a little 3-shelf bookcase. The bottom 2 shelves used to have a lot more movies on there. I've been slowly going through my movie collection and selling them and packing some away to take to used bookstores and stuff like that to sell. So I've got it down to 2 shelves now with the movies, and then the top shelf is where I store mine. Ellie can't get to it quite yet. I'm sure that's going to change here the next month or a couple months. But that's why I just have them displayed on top of a bookcase up in my entertainment room.
So I just have some floating shelves right now, and as you guys can see, there's not much room. So I'm looking for new ways to be able to display them. And the best solution that I've found is if you go to Hobby Lobby or Joann's or some store like that, you can buy a baseball bat display case.
Oh.
So it's got the rungs on the back that it can hang on the wall, and then you just open up the glass and where it folds up, and they all fit perfectly in there. The 3.5 inch, of course.
You have just ruined it for me. I'm about to order like 15 on Amazon.
Well, and the perfect thing is that if you go to a Hobby Lobby or Joann's, there's always a coupon that you can
do like one a week.
Because they're only around $25 full price.
40% off.
So you can pick them up for 15 or $16.
Well, yeah, you just ruined it. Okay.
So speaking of display, obviously you can, if you're watching on YouTube, you can see this. We have ours out of the box. Do you keep yours in the box? Do you take them out? I know I have mine out of the box, but I still have the boxes saved where I could put them back in, and everything's all mint condition. If I ever got to that point where I was wanting to sell them, but do you keep them in the box? Do you take them out? How do you do that?
All of mine are out of the box except for Pekka Renee. and I don't know why I still have them in a box.
All of mine are out of the box, but I keep the boxes as well.
I don't keep boxes.
But I have one that's still in the box, and it's Queen Elizabeth with a corgi. And the only reason is because I'm scared to lose the corgi.
Right, which is why you have it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
You're not,
I don't
you're
care.
not bleeding heart for the UK or anything.
I don't really care about Queen Elizabeth, but it's the corgi that we want.
See, ours Pua is really hard to keep up with. When he came with Moana, he is really hard to make sure he's not lost somewhere, because I have lost him and I accidentally found him.
Yeah.
But baby Pegasus is actually hard to find, hard to keep a track of sometimes too, because he's shorter. He's probably, what do you call it, 3.5. What is he?
Well, it's probably about the same size.
Right.
As
Yeah,
this
he's
group
about
that
the size of that group,
which
yes.
is probably 2.5
inches, 2.5, something like that. Yeah, he's not tall. His blue mohawk is probably the tallest part of him. But he's tiny, and he's actually kind of hard to make sure you don't lose.
So, one thing that's on my bucket list is to go to the Funko headquarters outside of
Where is
Seattle.
that? Ooh.
Yes, in Washington.
Is that something that you guys have interest in to do
It is
something?
now.
So apparently, I don't know if it's all the time, but a lot of the time, it's $10 for anything.
Wow.
I think if I was in the area, I would go to it, but I wouldn't do a trip just to go to the Funko headquarters.
Maybe when Seattle gets a hockey team, that's like
right.
an excuse.
That would be an excuse to go out there.
You can always go see the Mariners play.
You could.
It's a nice stadium.
I'm sure it is.
I'm just
Is
saying.
it Safe? No, not Safeco. What is it?
It is Safeco.
Is it Safeco?
I think they might have just changed the name.
Oh.
It used to be Safeco.
Right.
But
It may still be Safeco.
For some reason, I was thinking San Diego was Safeco, but
That's Petco.
Petco. Right. Yeah, I figured it out.
Yeah. So, I actually regret we had some friends there, and they had I'm not typically a fan of the gold-plated or the chrome.
No, I
those.
don't understand them.
I can't. I like to see the details and the colors.
Yes.
But apparently there was a gold-plated Stan Lee, and it was right before he died.
See,
And it was $10 flat. Our friends would have shipped it to us. I didn't do it.
So the gold plated, or they have different. There's blue, purple, green, red. How do you feel about those? Because I'm with you. If I'm gonna buy the character, I want to buy the character, and I want to see the details in it. I want him, or I want the character in their traditional clothing and outfits and everything like that. To me, I feel like the plated ones, the chrome plated ones, I guess that's what they call them, seems to me like a cheap way to make more money, because they already have the mold for it. All they gotta do is just paint it a different color almost. And I don't know, I don't like them.
I don't like him either.
I think the point is the outfits and the colors, and what if you had Deadpool as Bob Ross, silver? Would it be the same?
No, not really.
All right.
You see, I was in this store the other day, and I love Baby Groot. I think Baby Groot is one of the best characters in the MCU, and I found a Baby Groot in the flower pot. Yes, I know you have them. You don't have to show me.
He's dancing too. He's on a little.
But
screen.
he's gold. He was gold plated. I'm like, to me, it just takes away the detail of it. It's all the same color. There's no. I mean, obviously there's still detail in it, but there's just not as much. You can't just look at a character that's gold plated and realize, or whatever color plated, and say, oh, that's that character. You actually have to get up close and examine it before you can realize it. Whereas when they're just in their normal outfits, you can, from across the room, you can look at it and say, oh, that's so-and-so.
There is one, and one only, that I would buy that's plated or made to look plated. That's Stan Lee, GameStop exclusive, that makes he looks like a pewter statue.
They have it at GameStop. I saw it just the other day.
No, I know they.
Yeah, okay. I was just saying. I mean, if it's like a Holy Grail or something, you need to go get it now.
They were taking pre-orders because my cousin works there and he called me about it. But they were taking pre-orders, and the night that they came out, he said they did that. What is now the 9 o'clock premiere instead of the midnight premiere, because that's just a thing now. with everything, including movies. And I think they pre-sold like 70 of them. And that's crazy. But they're really cool. And he actually really looks like a true statue. But it's a Funko Pop.
Like the collector.
Right.
That would be like a cool one.
It is really cool. That's the only one I would buy like that.
That is one of the checklist of, am I going to buy this? It has to be that if I look at it, I know who it is immediately.
Yeah.
I don't, like, there's a Banner one out there, and he's just wearing like a sports coat and jeans. Like, nobody knows that's Bruce Banner.
Was it Joey Tribbiani?
Yeah.
That's right. A Friends reference. My wife will love that.
So, are there any that are kind of out there that's kind of your holy grail? You're like, oh my gosh, I gotta have that.
I've got all mine, to be honest with you. I really, really wanted a Captain Marvel, clearly. You know me. And I was, the first time I ever saw one of her, like one of the first ones they ever made of her, smashed it. And I hate bobbleheads. She's a bobblehead.
So what is she dressed as?
The comic book version.
Okay, so I was actually in Target the other day and we saw a couple, and they had Vers and her Kree, and then they also have her on her motorcycle.
Interesting.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of the motorcycle.
I have the Vers one. My cousin picked it up for me, and I haven't got to him to get it from him, but I do have that one.
But the one on the motorcycle is actually part of the Ride series, which is my preferred series. But it's another. She's wearing goggles. You can't tell that it's her.
Yeah, I do want the only other one I would buy of hers that's not the movie version. And there's one with her with the Warhawk. It looks just like that one, with the helmet's on and the Warhawk is up.
So my big bucket list ones we've actually already mentioned. It's Figment and the Splash Mountain Ride one.
Right.
See, I'm going through my wish list on the app. There's a couple. There's Thor.
It's almost $4,000 worth
There's
of wish list.
149 of them. Are we going to do this?
No, I'm not going to go through all of them. But backstory why I have so many. I was really bored at work one day. So I just started going through all the licenses and just, I went A through Z, everyone they had. And I was just, okay, yeah, that looks cool. I probably will never get, 75% of these.
Right.
But, just something to keep an eye out for if I ever see them. But, just looking through, there's Thor holding Stormbreaker and Mjolnir. I think that'd be pretty
double
cool.
fist, yeah.
Double wielding. For those of you that remember Star Tours, the original Star Tours, Rex was your captain. He was the one that was piloting the ship.
He's in Galaxy's Edge now?
Yes. Is he really?
Yeah, he's a DJ.
Oh, that's so
he's
cool.
He's a DJ in one of the restaurants.
That's
in the canteen.
Really, really cool.
But they made a pop of him as a DJ. I think that would be really, really fun to have. For Game of Thrones people, Tormund Giantsbane, he is my favorite character by far on that show.
They made one.
Oh yeah, he's right there.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, Tormund. And then there's a couple sports ones. Bart Starr, Brett Favre. I'm a Packers fan, if you couldn't tell. And a couple more Star Wars ones that are a little bit more rare from some of the older movies, stuff like that. But that's kind of on mine. There is one that I really want from Hercules, Hades.
Oh, I bet that was cool.
Hades is like one of my favorite villains of all time out of like any Disney movie, any movie really. But I think Hades would be a really, really good one to have.
Does anybody know if they've ever made a Rescue Rangers?
They have. Well, they have Chip and Dale.
But they're not Pops, right? They're Funko action figures.
No, they do have Funko Pop. I'm very positive.
I haven't seen them.
Really? I swear I've seen them. And it's just Chip because he's in his bomber jacket.
Well, if they have those, then those are at the top of my list. But I'm pretty sure they're just the action figures.
Well, talk amongst yourselves and I'll look it up.
Well, I mean, I think we're pretty much towards the end of this episode.
There is one that I thought was really cool that I had. I have Ramathorn from Super Troopers, and he has a bottle of maple syrup in his hand. And then there's one drip of maple syrup coming off his lip. And it's just like a single drip, and then he has a bottle in his hand.
Is that a Roger Rabbit, Jordan?
That is a Roger Rabbit and Judge Doom from the movies. That would be a really good find, I think.
I feel like basically any like 90s or early 2000s Disney or Nickelodeon.
Oh, yeah.
See, that's kind of,
Yeah.
I mean, that's the era that I grew up in and everything. You know, there's Ninja Turtles, the old X-Men, like the animated series, there's a Wolverine.
I have a Professor X from the animated series, the original series,
Yeah.
and he's in his chair, and it's kind of angled up where it's kind of like that, and it's on a clear stand, so it looks like it's hovering.
So that'd be cool.
And it's really, really, really cool.
Again,
I do have that.
like I mentioned, just kind of anything that is pop culture or, 90s era, TV shows that I grew up with. For those of you watching on YouTube, I actually just got Radioactive Man from The Simpsons. Greg picked it up for me the other day.
From Rick's Comics.
From Rick's Comics City. We keep plugging them, by the way. Can we get like some advertising dollars from them?
Sure.
Or,
We'll look into it. I'll ask Rick.
You'd let them know. But
$5 an episode.
yeah. But
A
anyway,
Funko Pop a week.
yeah, we'll work out a deal. But I mean, stuff like that, like just 90s, 80s, 90s pop culture stuff, current pop culture stuff, sports memorabilia, anything like that. That's what I'm looking for. Again, not looking to make complete collections out of stuff. I know some people are a lot more serious about it, and they go out and complete collections and keep them in the box and everything like that. I'm not into that. That's not my goal. My goal is just to have stuff that I think is fun, or stuff that either I have like a personal connection to or something like that. That's what I'm looking for.
Absolutely. I have one that was given to me. It's Leia during not Boba, when she's caught by Boba Fett. Maybe when she's impersonating another character.
Oh, at the beginning of Return of the Jedi?
Yeah, I've got that. I don't even know the name of the character. But it's whatever name of the character, parentheses, Princess Leia.
See, that'd be a good one. That's a rare one that
Yeah.
you'd find.
And it was given to me, like, in the olden days of Pops.
I feel like they just started, like, within, like, the last, what?
I think they're a lot older than we realize.
They are a lot older than you realize.
So they just now got popular, is what you're saying?
Yes. They just now got to the point
No,
where they're
not at all.
obsessively.
So, let's talk giveaways.
Yes.
So from last episode and episode number 16, we had all of our comic books. So we had 8 winners, and so each winner got 2 issues from Free Comic Book Day, and then 1 issue that Greg picked out that are some of our kind of personal favorites or really integral issues. Is that a fair way of
Yes,
saying it?
absolutely perfect. Yes.
So we'll be sending those out soon. We're going to announce that on social media, so you can follow us on Twitter at KOutcastPod or on Instagram at Kingdom Outcast. Found out if you won over there, so thank you guys so much for entering, everyone.
And I would love to see pictures of you in your comics.
Yeah. So, and I think the way that we kind of put this together is that it's a way that all these are accessible for anybody who's just getting started.
Yes.
And that's kind of the point of
Absolutely.
Free Comic Book Days, so you'll get those 2, and then hopefully that other issue will launch you into a run.
I either got number 1s of current series that are current runs that are going, or I got Avengers number 10. It's a very important hub of the story arcs of not just the Avengers, but other individual comics that have sprung from the Avengers or related to the Avengers comic. And it's a double issue. It's huge.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the 700th issue all time for the Avengers name.
Awesome.
So it's huge. It's real good.
Awesome.
Someone's getting that.
Yeah. So, head over to social media, find out the winners for that. We'll direct message you if you're one of the winners to figure out how to get it to you. We're doing another giveaway this week. We're on a roll of doing giveaways. But this week, to celebrate the release of Aladdin later this week on Thursday night, we're doing an Iago Funko
Pop toy.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, one of our favorite characters from the animated classic.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully they will continue his legacy in the live action, but it's going to be the same deal. Go over to Twitter. We'll put a tweet up where you can retweet that in order to enter, or on Instagram, do the typical tag in the comments. You all cool with that?
Yep, totally.
And there will only be one winner for that.
Only one winner for that one, but we're still very small. So you have a very good chance of winning if you win.
It's very true.
And if, a little tease, if you don't win the Iago, I think we're planning on doing something similar for Toy Story, for Lion King coming out this summer, Spider-Man, Star Wars, Rise of Skywalker later on this year. So there'll be more chances for giveaways, stuff like that. But hey, if give us feedback. What kind of stuff would you all like? Do you like the pops? Obviously, those are very, I'm going to say it again, popular things right now.
Yeah.
But, we could do other things. Comic books, movie posters, other, small stuff. Obviously, we do have some sort of budget. But, just let us know.
But it's a good thing of us all three doing it. We can split the cost 3 ways.
Yes.
So it's a minuscule monetary investment that we have to make. And we know that it's something that will really bring you guys joy. So happy to do it.
Absolutely.
Hopefully we can do it for a lot longer. So we will be back next week. And we'll be chatting about our ideal 5th Walt Disney World park. So that'll be a fun chat. It's been a while since we talked about the parks. So we're going to do that. So say it every week. If you're ever looking to help out the show, honestly, an iTunes review is the absolute best thing that you can do for us, and we're so grateful for that. It is the best way to get iTunes to push our show to new listeners and get our name out there. So if you are willing to do that, we truly appreciate it. We will catch up with you next week.
Hello.
Please cut that out.
Yes. I was blank. I waited. That's why I waited for so long. I have to use the bathroom.